how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. Thank you all for being here. I am so excited for this one. I'm excited for every week, every time all of you stop by. But more importantly, I get excited when it's a first time guest on video on the show, because the guest today has been on the show plenty of times with all of you in the chat. But of course, today he'll be in the chat with you as well. We have the one and only Hobbies with Jose. He's going to be in the house today with us. So excited to talk. Again, it's weird because I talk to all of you every week in the chat, but now to talk in person, it's like it's trippy sometimes. But we're going to be talking all things nerdy. So of course, if there's things you guys want to talk about, let us know in the comment section. We're definitely talking Transformers, customization, what he's doing over on his channel. I'm sure Red Dead Redemption is going to come up. Some of you in the chat I know are Red Dead heads. Is that a new thing? Did I just make that up? Red Dead heads? I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, of course, as always, we're switching it up this week. We're on a beer today. We're on Heady Toppy, courtesy of my neighbor. So if you have not grabbed it already, this is your chance to pour yourself. I'm saying it's your chance to pour yourself just a little bit of sweet nectar. As I mentioned, interact with each other in the chat. Interact with us in the chat. If you got a YouTube channel, podcast, newsletter, throw it in the chat. But of course, get the beard ready because, as they say, without further ado, we're going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself. Hobbies with Jose in the house. Good to see you, brother.
Oh my God.
How are you doing, sir?
Good to be here. Doing great. Well, I'll be a lot better once. Take a sip of this guy. Oh my God.
There you go.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah. And you got it in the frosty mug.
Oh my God.
You got it in the
But
frosty
thank you so
mug.
much for having me on, dude. Thank you.
No, it's
a pleasure.
It's an honor. I said it before we started filming. I said it a couple weeks ago, actually, where I was like, you randomly popped into a stream one day, and then I was like, man, that thumbnail looks quite professional looking. And it turns out you've had a channel this whole time, didn't say anything to anybody. You were just hiding out there.
Hiding in plain sight. I'm terrible at promoting. Terrible. Yeah.
So everybody, if you've not done so, make sure you head over to Hobbies with Jose. I didn't even get that part ready. I had to get the screen ready.
Oh my God, is that my page? Oh my God.
There you go. So make sure you give him a follow. Look at that Red Dead, Pokemon, customization. He's one of us, ladies and germs. He's one of us. I didn't even switch over to this. Let me get that going.
Oh,
do
wow.
That. And then there we go.
Nice. Thank you.
So before we even roll into everything, of course, let's say hi to all our fellow nerds in the chat there. We got Josh in the house. General Kenobi in the house. Sal's there. Patrick's there. Gang, as they say.
Yes.
Aaron Waller in the house. Tattooed Geek, a new nerd in the house. Good to see you.
I'm bringing my cousins on. Hey.
There you go. Matt's in the house as well. Good to see all of you. So, sir, you know how this goes. Anytime it's somebody's first time on the show, I got to start with the basics. We got to go back to day one.
Oh, yeah.
What was that nerd thing that deemed you a nerd?
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. That has to go really way back.
You got to go way back.
That has to go really way back.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember probably, if we're going to stick to Transformers, I think it was the first time I saw it was one of the cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
but then realizing that the toy, it's really deceiving because it really is a two-in-one, right?
Right.
You want a robot, you want a vehicle. It was like the most magical thing, and
It's true.
it was like, wow, this is phenomenal. I think at that point that was the first step towards a long road of nerddom, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. It's so simple and yet it works so well.
It's genius.
It's genius. The
It really is.
the Toys That Made Us did a thing on Transformers and Power Rangers and all that. It was all like everything was based off that Super Sentai stuff, and it was crazy to think that even Transformers kind of came from that. They were like, oh, it'd be cool if there was two toys in one, just like you said. That's wild.
And I don't remember exactly when I found out how it was based off of Diaclone. I think it's common knowledge nowadays, right? But when you look at what they took from that property and they really reinvented it, gave it all the character, because that's a big part of Transformers.
Yes.
Giving it that character, giving it the affiliations, you know. It was like all of these things coming together and just making this really awesome property. It really was. It really was.
No, for sure. For sure. So for you, was it the Transformers movie or was it the TV show, or do you remember?
Definitely the TV show. Definitely the TV show.
Yeah.
And I remember this was, again, back in the day when they had video stores, seeing the actual cassettes of the videotapes.
Yeah.
I think they had like 2 episodes in one tape or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Seeing that. And I didn't have a lot of the figures growing up, you know. I think that's what added to the mystique of it. I had neighbors, I had friends in the neighborhood, you know. Oh, that kid has all of them. He's my new best friend. You know, yeah, I'm going to come over.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
It was,
oh, yeah.
and we talked about that one week on the show where I was like, kids these days, this is the old man thing to say. Kids these days don't understand. Like,
They don't.
there was no, I'm going to just stream it all, catch it all in one shot. Like, you had to go out, get to that video store. You bought the VHS, like you said, there's no preview. You're going based on the artwork of the box. And that's all you had.
And really, there was information coming all over the place. I still remember distinctly one of my schoolyard friends telling me, hey, I got the Soundwave, and Laserbeak actually plays the soundtrack from the show. And I'm like, what? Really? And I don't remember. Like, I think I saw him hit play.
Yeah.
And I heard him play something, but you know, it's one of those foggy memories where it's like your brain kind of like replays it differently.
Yes.
But of course, no, that's not true. So, well, nowadays, I mean, you can get an MP3 player that's Soundwave, right? Which technology nowadays. But imagine back then hearing that.
Yeah.
Blew my little mind away. Oh my God.
Yeah. So are you? And I'll get back to Transformers. I know it, especially because Sir Patrick here is also a collector. He's a new collector of Transformers. But is Transformers like your main, like, we'll start with, I guess, your retro property. Like, is that the main thing that you collect from your childhood or your earlier days?
I mean, it is now. It is now. Now it's 95% Transformers, right? And there was a time where I was collecting a wider range of things. I remember I actually had the first wave of Marvel Legends, the actual very first wave. Wow. And I was religious with Marvel Legends. I loved them. I think back then, McFarlane Toys was a big thing. And I remember seeing the Spawn figures, the very first ones. The amount of detail, the amount of paint apps that they had.
Yeah.
That was the line that kind of started a thing with action figures. And Marvel Legends was, I think in my mind, the answer to McFarlane Toys. You know, we're going to come up with these. And they look great. So it was Marvel Legends, it was Transformers. A lot of the times, though, I didn't get a lot of the main lines from Transformers, a lot of the new storylines, because they always get reinvented every number of years.
Right.
And so what I was really sticking to are the masterpieces, getting them imported from Japan. Thankfully, only having a few come out every year because they were pricey. Yeah. You know? But I think it was Transformers Animated that really got me back into collecting the main line. And it's kind of snowballed since then, especially with the last recent ones that are out now, like Siege, Kingdom, Earthrise, and now getting up into Legacy. They're really, and you hear this term a lot, mini masterpiece, because it really is what the actual masterpiece figure would have been, very much miniaturized. You know, obviously for the budget and the paint apps and whatnot, but the engineering on these toys, oh my God, absolutely astounding. So yeah, I'm kind of hooked, for better or worse, you know.
So are these the animated ones here, the ones that are
Those
in
are the
this red
animated
box?
ones. Yes.
So that's what got you
Yes,
back
and
in.
even that's what really got me back in, because even though it's obviously not exactly G1, it has a lot of the homage from G1. It's a lot of the time it's based off of that, and they really built upon it. A lot of the characters, well, that kind of lack character from G1, they added a lot of character to it. I'll give you one example,
Mm.
and that's a triple changer Blitzwing with the triple faces. That's almost one of the standout characters from animated. Whereas in G1, the whole gimmick was that he transformed into three things, but the character itself was kind of lacking. Now
Mm-hmm.
they gave him three characters, three characters in one, which is amazing. So it's a very fun show.
Yeah.
I just finished binging it literally about a month ago, after it came out and whatnot. It's a ton of fun, even though it's targeted for a younger audience.
Yeah.
The quality of the story writing, the animation maybe not so much, but the designs,
Mm-hmm.
it's really there. It's really there for anybody.
And that's something that a lot of us were talking about when it came to the Masters of the Universe show.
Mm.
And then you even go back when they had that new Thundercats show came out. There was like the one that was
Yes.
like more mature looking. Then there was like that Steven Universe looking one that came out. And amongst the fandom, there was this whole thing of like, oh, they're making it for kids, like it's BS. But it's like, no, like the kids kind of need their own entryway as well. But to your point, like using the current Masters of the Universe as example, like, yeah, it looks from the outside like it'd be for kids, but the content's very much mature to try to grab both audiences.
Yeah, and you can definitely make it targeted for kids, but even that's almost like it's almost deceiving in a way, because you can have it the quality of the writing itself can be for a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot of properties that are targeted for kids, and really that's kind of it. You probably won't get much
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
But it always depends. It always depends.
Were you into Beast Wars at all? Because I mean, for a lot of us, that was our entry point. I mean, I
Yeah.
knew Transformers. I had toys by default, but that was the first show I was watching like weekly, episodic.
I'll tell you this, I do remember watching Beast Wars as it was airing,
Mhm.
and I remember thinking to myself that the writing on these shows was a lot better than G1.
Mm.
Honestly, I couldn't watch G1 nowadays if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't have that in me, but Beast Wars, it is watchable.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I could not get past,
Mm-hmm.
please don't flame me, please don't kick me out of here. I couldn't get past the Transformers transforming into animals. Like I was thinking, were they still metallic, or are they actually skin and bones? What's going on here? What's
Yeah.
the story? So it's a cool concept to continue it, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely much more in the vein where as a transformer, it just makes more sense in my head
To be a
to transform
vehicle.
into a truck, into
Yeah.
a jet.
Yeah.
But I still respect the hell out of it. And they had a lot of good characters in that too.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of good characters, and a lot of those characters also bled into animated too. So
Yeah.
I was very appreciative of that too. But 100%, it's still going to be G1, I think, for me, even though I can't watch it.
And for the Transformers casuals like myself to confirm, G1 refers to the original cartoon series that came out.
Generation 1, yep.
Yeah.
And they had Generation 2, technically, although mostly it was in the toy line where a lot of the G1 figures just got repainted.
Mm.
There were some new ones in there, but that's really when I was kind of falling off of the whole collection and watching the shows and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm back now, better late than never.
yeah, I mean, for a lot of us, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And I was telling that to a friend too. I was like, with a lot of these figures, it's like we're buying stuff that like we couldn't afford as a kid, or you just didn't have access to as a kid. And on top of that, the stuff looks way cooler now than it did as a kid.
See, and Hasbro knows this. Takara Tomy knows this. That's why Masterpiece exists, right? It's for the grown-ups now that have the money, and they can spend it on a figure that looks a lot more what it looked like in the original show, and can transform much more complicated into what it looked like in the show. Although I'll be honest, the prices on them are kind of getting a little bit out of hand, if I'm being honest. That's why with Siege, with a lot of the main lines, the level of engineering, even though it can be simple, sometimes it gets the job done. It gets the job done. That's what we need,
And then just to
Look at
show
that
everybody,
guy.
this
Oh
would be
my
a
God.
Masterpiece figure there.
Yes, 280.
Yeah.
280. It's a nice looking figure. Wow.
Comes with all
Much
the
closer to what we saw in
accessories.
the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how big would this would this be? I don't know if I've seen a masterpiece in person.
It's definitely bigger than what you would see in the main line.
Okay.
They don't really have a class size for the masterpieces because they just kind of try to match it to what it was in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it here on my display because I just have to get through all these lights to try and get to it. I would say maybe twice as big as what a main line would be.
Okay.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Now, are they actually made out of metal too to justify that cost, or?
No. A lot of they'll still be made out of plastic, but they may have some metal parts within them.
Okay.
Usually to help for the stability, to help with the weight wise. They won't have the whole thing out of metal. That would just be ridiculous. That'll be too much. But the quality of the plastic itself too, it's always good. A lot of the third-party figures, I don't get too many of those, but you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference when it's like a cheap plastic, where you're afraid to transform it, whereas it's an actual transformer.
I was just looking here at the on the website. So that just so I'm finding it properly, it wouldn't be the Studio series on here. Like it's actually
that's one of the sublines. The Studio series is mainline Transformers, but based off of the movies and also based off of the original animated movie.
Oh, okay.
And so these will be like the Vader shows or from the new Bumblebee, which is what we're seeing here. And this is the line that I'm actually collecting right now too, based off of the new Bumblebee movie, based off the original animated show, because again, they make them look very closely to what we saw on the big screen. Yeah, these figures are great. The price is great. They may just need a little bit of a better paint job, but that's what I do, so I'm okay with that.
So I guess walk us through that. Like you decided at some point that you're like, I'm getting back into collecting this thing that I had as a child, and they're making them better than ever, but yet for some odd reason, I need to improve them more than they've already been improved. Like, I guess walk us through that. Like, what led you down that path of just customizing?
I mean, it really was a new Bumblebee movie. When I first saw that first trailer that came out, and we saw the new designs, how they were much more inspired by G1. Yeah. First of all, I knew I was going to watch that movie, hands down. And it turns out that the movie was pretty good, too. That helped out a lot. When we started seeing what the figures were going to look like, obviously, there's always limitations. There's a budget. And I remember thinking to myself, it's either going to be I'm going to pick up these mainline figures like Studio Series, or I'm going to go the third-party route, get a bigger figure that's that much more expensive. And part of the reason is that in my little apartment, I don't have that much room to work with here, right? And I've got a budget.
Yep.
But just thinking that, I have experience making model kits. I have an airbrush. I have all these paints. I have all this equipment here.
Yeah.
How hard would it be to grab one of the mainline Transformers and give it a nice new paint job, So that's how it really started. That's how I started into the customization side of it. But then when I went online to try to find a lot of tutorials, I didn't find a whole lot. There are some out there, but the ones that I found were just kind of years old, and they may have put out one or two videos. This is how you do it, and then the end. That's it. They won't really post up anything else. So, and I'll tell you this: it was really during the pandemic, during the lockdown, trying to stay at home, and I'm here living alone. And it's one thing when you live alone because you want to, and when you live alone because you kind of have to.
Yeah,
trying to not be so
that's
crazy. True. It was a very good outlet, having the YouTube channel and putting the work out there for others to see, and hopefully, teaching others what the process is like, and also learning from others too, because, very quickly people are going to tell you, hey, you should try this or try that method. So that's been very helpful in the whole process. I've learned a whole lot, but yeah, that's been really what got the ball rolling.
That's wild. And the production value on your videos is absolutely amazing. It always blows my mind when somebody like yourself is like, I just started. There was a need. There was actually like you. What's so hard for a lot of creators, even like myself and probably others in the chat here, is like finding your niche right away. And you immediately were like, this is something I want to start to do. I'm already dabbling in it offline, and I'm going to just create content for it. And now you're dominating that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. And
to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I will drink to that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it was never really the plan to just focus on Transformers. That's part of the reason when I started my channel, I was thinking, and I know I mentioned this, I'm going to be smart about it. Yeah. And I'm going to name my channel something not too generic, but that can be almost any of my hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Hobbies with Jose. Great.
Yeah.
And YouTube came in and said, you know what, fam, no, you gotta stick a lane.
Yeah.
Pick a lane and you gotta stick to it. Which I can kind of understand why. It is the one thing that obviously gets the views on my channel because I think it's a more unique thing that I do. There's a lot of streamers out there that game or do drawing videos or whatever the case may be. Repainting a transformer, probably not as much. And so I'm okay with it because it's a ton of fun. I don't know when I'm going to do another model kit again, and I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's funny because like as you were talking through all of this and you're going over the different like the different lines and what they're called and whatever, I immediately was thinking of Gundams. Like I immediately thought of the Gundam building community when you have like the master kits or you have like the beginner one or the ones that are already like they come bare, you just paint them. Like I was immediately thinking of that. But in the Transformers world, do they have like that I guess part of the world where it's just people are building the Transformer piece by piece and then painting it and then doing all of that, or does that not really exist?
I mean, if you're talking about taking an actual figure that you get off retail, right, and disassembling it, repainting it like that, yes, there are many that are doing it out there. I would say not as much as Gundam though, because a regular Transformer, it's not a model kit,
right? And
it doesn't come with instructions to how to disassemble it. You kind of have to do it yourself and do trial by fire. What works, what doesn't work, you're gonna mess them up. And so obviously with Gundams, there's a lot more of a history of building it because that's what they're for. But there are many creators out there that do it. Not a lot of them have YouTube channels though. Many of them might just have like a Twitter, or I think quite a few of them actually right now are on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't big on using it before, but you see a lot of pictures on there. Beautiful pictures that they take, and I'm like, wow. And I look at their page, it doesn't seem like they have any kind of a YouTube channel or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I love seeing that process. I always love seeing it. Now, as far as Gundams, I got into Gundams a little bit late, and I do have a backlog of model kits too. I think the thing about Gundams, though, when I first saw them, around the same time that G1 was out, and my little kid brain saw a Gundam, the RX, the original Granddaddy Gundam, and thought to myself, that is a really weirdly colored Optimus Prime, right? It looks very much like Optimus, but it's got some weird colors, and it's a giant robot, and it's not alive. There's a pilot. I don't think that's for me. And so for the longest time, I was just not really, I knew they existed, but they were off somewhere else. And it really wasn't until a couple of years ago that I just decided out of the blue, you know what? I think it's time for me to check out Gundam. And Gundam's great. I built a few model kits. They are phenomenal to build. I'm definitely going to build some more, but with the backlog I have right now for Transformers, who knows when that's going to be again. Right? I have built one on my channel though, so it's there. It's there.
So yes, with because with the Gundam world, like there's like the competitions and all that stuff. In Transformers, I'm assuming there isn't that kind of thing, like that there's, I guess, kit bashing competitions. Because for those of you who don't know, a kit bash would be like if he took two Transformers, took them apart, combined them to make something else. He did a Megazord essentially, but doing it with different pieces and stuff. So is that a thing in the Transformers world, like the whole like competition of building, or not so much?
I mean, not that I've seen. I haven't seen any specific competitions for Transformers, but I almost have to imagine that they might have to exist. I think, if anything, if you were to go to like a Transformers convention, there might be a corner where you see somebody that built one. I did see one years ago. Oh gosh, maybe 5-10 years ago. Before maybe Masterpiece was even a thing, a guy had built a giant Optimus, I think from scratch, and he was just transforming it live. And I was like, oh my god! I was trying to film on my rinky-dinky old BlackBerry phone, and that's really the only thing that I've kind of seen, people kind of building them themselves, but nothing that I've seen to organize. I would love for that to be a thing.
Yeah.
I think there's enough creators out there for that to kind of work, but not a whole lot of it right now, unfortunately.
I mean, that could be your thing. Like, I mean, Hasbro, if you're out there, this is your guy right here. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
I would love to have something like that.
So, what are some of the other, I guess, nerdy things that you're into? Because I mean, building is a big part of not just your channel but your life. Even based on behind you, us seeing all the paints and the different apps and all that stuff. So, that aside, like, what's the other kind of nerdy things that have you in this world of ours?
I mean, I think as far as like the consumption of media, it's always
Yep.
it's like the standard ones. You know, I love Star Wars, I love Star Trek, I love the
Mhm.
shows, I love the movies. I do like liking things. I think it's usually kind of tough for me to like not like something.
Okay.
I think I'm done with Picard though. I will say that I think Picard is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm enjoying the Strange New World show.
Yep.
That's a fantastic show so
Yes.
far. I think the third episode just came out.
It did. Yep.
I'm a big MCU fan. Big MCU fan. I have to see the newest movies when they come out, if I'm able to, you know. And as far as like apart from media, I do enjoy drawing.
Mhm.
I wish I had more time for drawing, honestly. Um, Gaming is big again when I have the time for it, and
Yep.
it's always a funny thing. Like sometimes I do prefer to just game off stream. That
Yep.
way I can shut the hell up and not talk a whole bunch, and not have to wash my face or comb my hair. You can just game, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But doing it on stream is great too, though. It's always great.
It is. But I totally get that. It's even today, like I was thinking about this weekend's toy hunt, and I only recorded 1 day's worth of stuff. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And today I went to like 3 different stores, but I didn't record anything. I was like, I kind of want to just go and just
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like just not have to talk. Just sit there and actually just look and see.
Take it in. Sometimes you need.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need that. After I finished, which one was it? I think Grimlock.
Mm-hmm.
Grimlock was my biggest custom so far, and overall the figure to put it together, there were no real issues,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a hard time getting that silver paint in the mail. I ordered it. I forgot through what website. I think it was eBay,
Mm-hmm.
and that order didn't come in time. Amazon failed me. I was literally down to the same week that I needed to get the video up,
Yeah.
and I ended up driving an hour away to a hobby shop that had it in stock.
Wow.
And so that was a trip.
Yeah.
That was a trip, and I think that was on a Wednesday. And I was trying to finish up the filming that night,
Mm-hmm.
and it just took a bit out of me that after that video was out, I took a 2-week break. I took a 2-week break just to regain the energy, and I was so happy that I did, because that's the one thing that I told myself when I started this channel. It's a hobby. It's an extension of all of my hobbies, is having my YouTube channel. It's not a job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting paid. Well, I think I'm about to get some
Yeah.
kind of money. But anywho,
There you go.
it's not enough to like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it's an extension of the hobby, so I don't want to get burned out from it. That's, I think, number one. So if I need to take a break, I will gladly do it. And I've been doing, I think, overall pretty good about putting out a weekly video.
Mm-hmm.
Since I started the channel almost over a year and a half ago. I've been doing
Wow.
pretty good at that. So
Yeah.
that was a much needed break.
That's wild. That's wild. Congratulations to you,
Thank you.
once again. So I thought it'd be fun to take a question break for you. And we're going to
All right.
shift gears into something we have not done in a couple weeks here on the channel. So first of all, if any of you are new, links to the guests are always down below. So make sure you scroll down, Hobbies with Jose. All his links are down below. Subscribe there. Subscribe here to Nerd Affiliated, of course. But we have a fun game that we used to play all the time called Either. And in the game of Either, you have blue, you have red. Sorry, I messed it up. You have red, you have blue. You choose which one best suits you. So I think this would be a fun one to see where you fall in the nerd category. Because I feel like the answer might be obvious for a lot of us, but you just never know.
You never know.
Everybody, make sure you put your answers in the chat. But in round 1 of Either, would you rather be Potter or Skywalker? Where are we going with this one?
Oh, my buddy was in the chat. Hello.
There you go.
Primo Spanish for cousin,
Yeah.
just so we know. Oh, there is no question here. I gotta go red. I gotta go Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
I gotta go Luke Skywalker. I've seen the Harry Potter movies almost as something that I felt I needed to do. I thought
Yep.
they were okay. I thought they were fine. But they were fine. Gotta go Luke Skywalker.
You know, if Matt's still in the chat, he'll know what I'm talking about. But you're giving me Lenny vibes. So Lenny is his partner on For Those of Good Taste, mutual friend of ours. And Lenny can't hate anything. Any movie he sees, he's like, he can't hate it because I think he just appreciates the movie even exists. I'm
trying to think of something that I hated. It's hard.
Well, the one thing I will say that's relevant to this question here, I feel like I stand alone on the dislike of Harry Potter. Cannot do it.
You can't do it.
I tried. And
How
my
many movies
girlfriend's
have you seen?
I think we stopped at the fourth one, I want to say.
Also, you gave it a good chance. Gave it a good chance. More than enough.
The last one I watched in its completion was the one where the werewolf was showing up at the place.
Okay.
And that's where I stopped, and I couldn't keep going. But I hear it's great when you keep going, but I just can't do it.
I mean, I don't think. Well, see, again, for myself, I saw all of them. I don't even know how many there are. 7? Is it 7 of them?
7 or 8.
And
or the second one's a 2-parter, I think.
Second one's a 2-part. Well, the last one's a 2-parter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make me a fan, but again, I enjoyed my time watching it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I haven't seen any of the newer ones, the Fantastic Beasts.
I hear nobody
haven't had that much interest. Yeah. So I don't think I ever will. I haven't read the books. I don't have a curiosity to read the books.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my fear is to hate something before I give it a chance. I kind of miss out on potentially enjoying something, you know?
Yeah.
So at the very least, I do want to give it a chance. And it's kind of, for me personally, if I'm kind of enjoying something, it's easy for me to not pay attention too much to the mistakes or whatever it's doing wrong, or if there's any continuity issues or whatever the case might be. I can kind of get into it. We'll go back to Picard. I think season 1, I was overall okay with it.
Yeah.
Had issues. Season 2, man.
Yeah.
Season 2, nah. I finished it, you know, but no. Am I going to go back to season 3? Well, we're going to have the original cast. I'd hate to miss out on seeing that, but is it going to traumatize me? I don't know.
Oh,
so
is that confirmed? Is that confirmed?
That's confirmed.
Wow.
The original cast is all coming back.
Wow.
And it feels like a really big candy that they're dangling over. Oh, please watch this season. It's going to be the last one. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
My dad will be
interested. A trailer.
Yeah, my dad will be interested because he's a big Trekkie. My girlfriend's a big Trekkie, and he's the only person I knew outside of yourself who kept going. And
he was a trooper. Yeah.
He was like, the last episode, he's like, I'm confused. I don't understand what's happening. Apparently, slight spoiler for everybody here, time travel's involved. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, they have 3 Star Trek shows out right now. 2 of them have time travel going on. Like, there's too much of it.
Yeah, it can be too much of a good thing right now. Thankfully, Strange New Worlds is really knocking it out of the park right now. I'm enjoying that, and I think that's why they decided to go primarily episodic. There is an overarching storyline.
Yep.
But every episode is kind of focused, nice and clean, nice resolution. I love it. It's like a warm blanket, you know, nice and comfy. It looks like a movie too. It
does.
The effects, the level of shooting, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see more of that.
No, for sure. So I feel like most of you in the chat, including us two, are going red. So
okay.
Wow.
Oh,
that was a lot closer than I thought.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's an age thing. It's definitely
an age thing. It really is.
Yeah. That's the only way.
I feel so old now.
Absolutely
oh my
the only
God.
way.
Wow.
I tell you.
Wow.
What was it I was talking about the other day? And like my coworkers, they had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, damn, like that's why, or like yesterday I shared on Instagram how, the first Fall Out Boy CD is about to turn 20 years old. Like, it's just like, what the
like, I know. Don't do that. Don't do that. What was I saying to my cousin one time? I think I was in the chat. She was streaming.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she's on. Sorry, I'm not going to put you on blast, but I was putting something on there. Oh, I said cool beans.
Yeah.
And she was saying, oh, I remember when people used to say cool beans. LOL. I'm like, oh, damn it. I can't see cool beans anymore.
It passed you.
I know. Yeah. That's okay. We have to be okay with it.
So you were saying before we even started recording that you actually had a story of how you fell into the stream one day.
Yeah.
I for some reason I thought it was in the General Kenobi stream, that you first popped in, but it maybe did a different one.
No.
So what's the backstory?
I thought maybe you wouldn't know. Okay, so I don't even know how long ago this was. This is a while ago, maybe about a year ago.
Yep.
You know, growing the channel, every comment that I get, I read it. I commented and whatnot, and then I remember getting a comment from Patrick, from Know Your Craft, Patrick.
Oh.
Nice. I don't even remember exactly what it was. Nice comment, and then some months after that, which I think is still in the chat.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick. I'm probably going to be embellishing some things a little bit, but we ran into each other on Reddit. I think we were both commenting on a Transformers custom, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I commented, and then he commented to me, hey, he said something about, oh, I gave you a major disrespect. I've been watching your channel for I don't know how long, and I haven't even subscribed, and I haven't even left thumbs up. And I'm like, wow, dude, really? Well, you can fix that. You can fix something to that effect.
Yeah,
and so, of course, when he subscribed, I always, back then, I don't do it so much now, but back then I would like to see who it is that's subscribing to me. What kind of channel do they have? Do they have content, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, Patrick has some fantastic videos up.
Yep.
Great content. I subscribed to him. And, of course, at the bottom, I think he had links to other shows, other channels that he watches, and yours was one of them.
Wow.
You know? So then when I jumped into here, I was like, wow, this looks like a production here. You know, this is legit a show. You know, wow, this is nice. I'm with my people here. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't left since.
That's shout out Patrick, of course. I mean,
yeah.
The reason I also will always say shout out Patrick, like me making t-shirts is partially his fault. And I told him that
really?
before. I when I was getting during lockdowns actually, I was I made almost like a vision board when it came to the channel. And one of them was to eventually have merch. Also, it was to make $5 to buy a burrito. So I was like, oh, I can get the burrito faster if I just make merch versus waiting for monetization to happen. So just Google search like how to make merch, and then like that led me down to print on demand. And then one of Pat's videos came up for having a print on demand shirt or a store. So that's Patrick. He's the link. He's the link to all of us.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely, it's something as far as merchandise goes, it's in my head too.
Yeah.
You know, so I know the first place I'm going to go to all of his videos and just binge them all and get a good feel of what it takes, what to do and whatnot. So it's only a matter of time. We'll see. We'll see if the demand is there, right?
Yeah. I think just do it. It's one of those where I took the approach where I was like, I remember it was a day I was so I work in a mall in Boston, and I'm walking by like Louis Vuitton store, and I'm like, who is Louis Vuitton that like he could have a store that people just buy stuff with like his name on it? And I was like, what's the stop? Like, why can't I be Louis Vuitton? So that was almost like that final push to like just make merch. Like, you never know. Like, just do it. Just release it. I went as far as I'm like, if you see me out in public, I'm wearing my own shit. Like, it's like,
nice.
which according to Spinal Tap is taboo. But
okay.
I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. It doesn't matter. And
I think for me, I'm just such a perfectionist.
Yeah,
I would want to, because I have a logo. But I would want to design them meticulously. I can already see myself taking months to do so. But I'm definitely gonna pull that trigger eventually. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. And it's funny. I didn't know that you guys knew each other prior, because I was excited to have you on the show because he's collecting Transformers as part of, I mean, he even has here a sketch session drawing Optimus Prime. So I was already kind of like, oh, you guys should definitely link up over Transformers, but apparently you guys already knew each other.
Job's been done.
Job's been done.
Nice.
That's amazing. But that's wild. So are you currently collecting other non-things like non-customizing project things? So, you know, for me, for example, Turtles, and now Billy Nichols, who's in the chat, he got me into wrestling figures now. Like, are you currently collecting other things just for the sake of having them, or is it all because you want to customize and all of that?
Customization is obviously a very big thing. When I still pick up a Transformer masterpiece here and there, that's obviously not something I plan to ever customize, because price-wise, I wouldn't want to risk ruining one. I'm not confident enough to try to disassemble that thing. But it's really, because God, and I remember collecting turtles back in the day too with the original cartoon. I remember that. I haven't picked up. I've seen the newer figures. How who is it? What's that company name? Something Seven that
Super
makes them?
7.
Super Seven. They make some really good figures, and they look like the original ones, but they have the articulation.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
it's almost like what would you remember the original figure to be, but it's actually realized.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to have something like that, but again, thinking about my display case, the limited room that I have,
Yep.
not a whole lot. I'll tell you the biggest thing that I picked up. It's not really something like an action figure, but there's a company called Eagle Moss
Mm-hmm.
that does these model kits that you build, but they send you pieces every month. And the DeLorean is, I don't know the exact measurements, but it's huge. I think it's like 1/8 scale, 1/7.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that it took 2.5 years to build. They send you parts every month, and I completed that. I think it was sometime last year, and that's like my centerpiece display. Yeah, that's the beater right there. And I did put modifications on it. I put some better lights, a better flux capacitor,
And it's die-cast,
a whole
too.
bunch of good stuff. And that is die-cast, yeah. Oh my God, that thing is nice. I had to have a special display case imported from Europe because they didn't operate here. Oh my God, that is such a good figure. That is such a good figure.
Oh, so they legit just send you like a couple pieces.
Yes, yes. And as far as like the complexity of it, I mean, it's very. They do explain the process. You don't have to be a master hobbyist to do one. They even send you the tools. It's not bad. I mean, don't ask me how much I paid for mine, though. Don't ask me that, because oh my God. And I know they have the Ecto 1 available as well. They have a bunch of other items too.
So this is a good, like, you just want a casual project that from time to time you're going to work on. It almost forces you to do that, to just be casual about it.
And what's cool about it, you don't have to paint it. You don't have to cut anything off of a sprue. Everything is already in pieces for you. All of the wires for the lighting, everything is there. Is there. I think maybe some of the biggest challenges is when you're starting to put some of the bigger pieces together. You know, like you have like the actual body, you're putting it over the interior. The final steps can get a little bit dicey. Get somebody to help you, but man,
somebody to help you. That's how big this thing is.
Well, not really to help you, but maybe to make sure that the corners are lined up and things like that. I think the biggest challenge when I was putting it together is there's some of the lights. I think some of them just kind of came apart from the wiring. So I happen to have a soldering iron that I was able to put it back together. Not everybody would have that. They will send out replacements, but ooh,
but I mean,
not bad,
dude. This thing's almost 2 feet long.
Yeah,
that's wild. That is wild.
I know,
man.
Eagle Moss needs to sponsor us here.
Yeah, but I like that, and I think what's good about the way you're doing it is it really forces you to stay, I guess no pun intended there, into a lane. You're like, I'm only gonna collect things that I build. I'm gonna customize, as opposed to just buying it all just cause, that type of thing.
Yeah, I try to think if I did have the room, I'm sure I would be more liberal as far as what I'm buying. So I do try to be a little bit choosy, a little bit picky as to what I pick up. I mean, I'm also big on Voltron. I did do a Voltron model kit on my channel last year.
Oh,
that was a ton of fun too. And again, only because the size wise, it's not that big.
Yeah.
But it's still fully detailed. You know, you can fully disassemble it into all the lines and whatnot. Great build. But as far as like other figures, I don't see myself getting into a different line anytime soon. Also, I'll tell you this because I tend to be a completionist. I cannot just get one figure from a generic line or whatever the case might be and then just be happy with it. I've got to go for the whole set.
Yeah.
Usually.
So it's a good thing you're staying in Transformers because
it's a good thing I'm staying in Transformers.
Forbid, if you came back to Marvel Legends or you went into NECA Turtle stuff, it's a wrap.
I would be done. I'd have to get a second job. I'm going to do the channel, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, and obviously there's no danger of Transformers ever ending. In fact, they're gonna keep coming out. My problem is that I'm still adding to my backlog faster than I can customize the figures. I just got 3 figures last week. 3 figures. When am I gonna get to them? I don't know. Next year,
idea.
2 years from now.
Yep.
I try not to think about it, but yeah, that's where I'm going.
I might have to. So I have a John Cena figure back there. I have two. And the plan was that myself and Toy Chest Quest were going to do a repaint of the figures.
Oh.
We may have to get you on that stream. And even if you're not there doing your own John Cena, you might just need to be like the teacher in the room to be like, no, don't do that. Do this. Use this paint.
Yeah. See, that one of the things that scares me is that I don't consider myself an expert, just that I've been doing it for quite a while, right? And a lot of the times, like, I'll get comments on people telling me, hey, how come you use this kind of paint on here and not this kind of? I'm like, I don't know, it looks nice, you know? But there are things where maybe you shouldn't mix certain paints and things are going to crack on you. Those are the types of things that you learn as you go. Yeah. You learn as you go, you know?
Yeah. As I guess I should have streamed this on my toy channel as well, because I didn't realize we're going to go, even though I knew we were going to talk toys, I didn't think it was going to be entire toy conversation, which I love. So I should have definitely streamed it on both channels. But going over to Hasbro real quick, they announced some stuff today. I mean, the Power Lances from Power Rangers, that's a whole nother thing there. But you mentioned how you started with Marvel Legends. Is there any desire to like get back into it, or even like here, like the 3 3/4 stuff, like any desire to do that?
Not particularly. When I see those figures, they look great, by the way, but I don't know. I think it's only because there's just so gosh darn many of them. I know I wouldn't be able to stop. The one figure or the one line that I kind of thought about getting into are the what are they called? SH Figure Arts.
SH Figure Arts, yep.
SH Figure Arts, and only because they have so much crazy articulation. The paint jobs, I think, are on a higher level, but they're also on a higher premium as well. Got tempted, but I haven't bit the bullet on those just yet. Legends is great, and I think that if I did, I would be tempted to repaint those as well.
Yeah,
I think it would be trickier than trying to do a Transformer, though, because then you're getting into flesh tones and muscle as opposed to something that's robotic and metallic. Yes, you know.
Yeah, and
maybe
that's
someday though.
But that's the thing. I mean, this. Come on, man. This Mojo.
Look at that.
Straight out the animated series. Here's the thing.
I remember having a Mojo from I don't know how many years ago that was a Build-A-Figure, and it was great. And it was great. I think after the company, what was the original? I think it was Toy Biz that made the Marvel Legends.
Yeah, and, pretty sure.
I remember when there was a change in company. A lot of people said that there was a drop in the quality of the paint jobs, or maybe the articulation or the accessories that were included. And I remember that's when I think I was kind of falling off of it. But they do look nice. They do look nice.
No, I mean, like I said, bless your heart. You're able to stay just the Transformers. You're doing well.
So far.
By the way, Tattoo Geek, I actually did. I did chuckle on the inside on that one.
Oh my god. Good one. Good one.
But Patrick was saying that the SH Figure Arts, like, it gets pricey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be a major investment. It really would.
I think if I could go back and like turn switches on and off in my head, I think it would be the NECA Turtles. I'd stick with that, and then everything else would be like the props. So, you know, like the Infinity Gauntlet, the helmets, like Vader's helmet. Like, I try to stay within those barriers if I could, especially because I used to do a lot of cosplay stuff. So I think that would be a good way to like mix worlds.
I think the props make such good display figures too.
Yeah,
they really do.
Yeah,
you know, just have them there in all their glory. They look badass. I can see the half of the. Where am I pointing to? I'm like mirrored here. see the Darth Vader helmet there. Looks nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at that. That is awesome. How long have you had that?
That's maybe 6 months. Fairly recent.
Oh, not that long then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just announced there's a new one coming out. So I'm not. I have some control with that stuff. Like even you know, looking. I mean, one of the first things I was collecting when I started collecting was Power Ranger things. So I have some general control over myself when it comes to like props and things, especially if there's a duplicate of something. But what I like about Hasbro is they're focusing on, is it something practical you can like take to a con, but also display wise, you know, coming with stands, and things of that nature. And it's like it has the extender on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the new Vader helmet, people are pretty happy with it, but I'm like, I already have a Vader helmet. Like how many helmets could you possibly need?
Well, is there anything different about it? Any improvements that they've made, or
the biggest thing that I take away from this helmet is, well, the price isn't bad, $131, but from Rogue One, he has like the reddish eyes.
Oh,
like the reddish tint.
Okay.
And that one is just black. At least I've never noticed any red tint to it.
Interesting.
So I'm like, you know, I don't really think I need a second one just for that.
Well, because they wouldn't make a helmet with interchangeable lenses, because that would make too much sense, right?
It makes
you have
too
to get
much
a whole
sense.
new helmet.
Exactly.
Wow, look at that inside. That looks awesome.
But this one has that too. That's where I was like, I saw the video that they did, you know, when they revealed it, and I was like, oh wow, like it's got all these cool things. I'm like, wait, I think that one has this too.
Was yours the same price?
No, mine was cheaper because it was like on a sale on GameStop on their website.
Oh wow.
But I have like the Boba Fett one. I have. Wait, I think they might be the only two Star Wars helmets I have, and then I have a War Machine Punisher one.
Oh, okay.
The Red Ranger and the White Ranger. And then I ordered a new Power Ranger one, but I did not order the Blue Ranger one today, and I did not get the Pink Ranger one. But I'm like, I was talking to Steve about it, because Steve in the chat, he's also a huge Power Ranger fan. I'm like, I would love to be a completionist with the helmets, but at a certain point, like I've got nowhere. I got nowhere to put all the weapons and the helmets. Like it's like too much.
Yeah, at a certain point, you end up having to put stuff in storage, and that's always the worst. Out of sight, out of mind, you know, owning it but not really seeing it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks really good.
But this is the one I'm really like, I really want. I missed out on the because they switched companies as well as to who makes the Power Ranger stuff, and the last company I missed out on their Power Sword, and now Hasbro's going to do the Power Sword. But again, it's like, where am I going to put it?
I remember I was into Power Rangers when it came out. I don't remember. I think it was really just for that first year that it was out.
Yeah.
I have to count my blessing that I'm not really that into that much now, you know. That would be a whole
you
nother
should.
thing that would just be tempting me, you know. That's the end of the struggle. It really is, because these companies they're never going to stop making stuff. No. They're never going to stop.
No.
You know.
And they know what they're doing.
Your wallet is crying. Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Hey, here's another Vader helmet with reddish eye.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Well.
But that's why. And Sal, I saw your comment there. You should check out Midtown Comics. I'm pretty sure they've had one there forever. The 42nd Street West Side one. Try that. With Hasbro, I feel like their thing lately, and you can let me know about Transformers, their thing has just been repaints. They'll be like, oh, here is Vader helmet, new set of eyes, but everything else is the same. Or here is another Spider-Man figure, and it's like, oh, you're just doing that because you can make 50 different variants of the same mold to give us Spider-Man. So are they doing that in Transformers as well, or do you feel like it's a different figure?
Absolutely. But from what I've seen so far, when they do a repaint, they try to it has to try to kind of make sense. As far as a straight repaint, I mean, we always know that the Seekers always have repaints, right? They've always got to make the initial 3 Seekers and then the cone heads and whatnot, but then they have some slight remolding. I think from what I've seen right now, especially with the new Legacy line, is that they're going to try and do maybe more obscure characters, or maybe pull characters from the comics that never had actual toy lines to accompany them. So we're seeing like, what was that green one? Bulkhead. The Bulkhead from Legacy, Wave 1, is already getting a repaint as part of, I think, the Wrecker crew. I don't know if he ever had, it had like a camo kind of a paint job. It looks different. It really does. I don't know if you ever had that in the comics, but that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
Got
Some
it.
just make more sense than others. Some just make more sense than others. But they do like to make. In fact, we're at a point now where when they announce a figure, if something looks off about the figure, like if it doesn't look like the character of the figure that they announce it as, people say, oh, that's a pre-mold. They're getting ready to make that mold into this other character later on, which is fascinating. And I'm sure there's some truth to that, because I'm sure they're thinking about the future, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we can turn this figure into this other figure,
Yeah.
or just paint it into this other thing
Yeah.
later on down the road. I mean, it's business. It's business. The one that we have here on the left, the Springer, the green and yellow one with the gray, I actually ordered that one only because when it originally came out on Siege, I wasn't buying Transformers at that time yet, and trying to find one secondhand through eBay was kind of pricey.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked out on that, and the fact that it's a repaint, it has more gray on it than the original one. But of course, once I eventually do the repaint, I'm gonna repaint it to how it is in the Siege version as well. So that's something that, for me specifically, I don't really look at what the paint job looks like or what color plastic it's in, because I know that I'm gonna repaint it.
Oh,
They could release a Transformer all white and plastic. I'll be fine with it. But I know they'll never do that. But that's what I turn them into. That model kit, really.
I mean, they may. I see why not. Like if if Hasbro's watching this for some odd reason, you might as well. Because
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of us have been complaining about paint apps for the longest time. For on the Power Rangers side, doing it out of necessity, but on your end, as the Transformers side, it's like you guys are doing it out of fun, out of like, I want to make it match the TV show, or the comic books, as you said.
Yeah. Or even if you take a figure like who was it? Earthrise Optimus Prime, that was nearly perfect, really. It was really the embodiment of a mini masterpiece. The paint apps were great, no reason to repaint it, but for me, because I want to repaint the entire thing, obviously like the red plastic isn't painted, it's just red, or the blue plastic isn't painted, it's just blue. And when you repaint the whole thing, it stops looking like a toy, and it looks more like something that's meant for collectors. It looks that much better, in my mind. This is the one that auto converts. This thing is $750.
I had to.
It is not even in my hemisphere of considering to buy this thing. Oh my god.
I had to bring this up. I was like, I'm gonna save this for the end, and then I forgot about it. And then as we came back to the site, I was like, oh, this is it, because I feel like as a Transformers collector, this would be your, I wouldn't say Holy Grail, because Holy Grail is always that figure that you always wanted, but that you didn't have but it existed. Versus this one, I feel like is something that as a kid we all wanted. Now we have the chance, but even you, the hardcore collector, is saying no to $750 on this.
Yeah, what a surprise, right? I mean, I don't see how you can make something like this cheaper, because it does do a lot. I think you do get your money's worth for what it is, the size that it is, all the things that it does. You connect this to the app, the voice, the lights, but okay, there's obviously going to be different kinds of Transformers, different mentalities on this. Having a Transformer that transforms on its own, just on that essence alone, kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of having a Transformer.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Hit a button and it does the fun stuff for you.
That's fun.
It looks nice.
It
looks nice.
I totally understand what you're saying. And I also noticed as I was scrolling down, they even refer to it as G1 in the description, so that they know their audience. I like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the same thing with the Lego that they announced not too long ago too. I think Optimus Prime is always going to be the first go-to guy whenever they try new things. Okay, well let's give Optimus Prime a shot. I don't know if they'll ever do other figures, to be honest with you. But the Lego one looks fun. I've never really been that much into Legos myself. It looked interesting. But I think for me, if I'm going to have something in my display case, I would want a figure that looks a lot more like the character that it's supposed to be, and that I put a nice paint job into it. A little bit of effort.
Yeah. But I mean, even this, like, you would get the actual truck. I mean,
well, the trailer itself
Yeah.
That's separate. That's separate.
I know. You don't want to spend $1,500 on the
let me check my bank account. Yeah, no, that's a hard no. That's a hard no. Oh my God, how much overtime do I have to put?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
See, okay, I'm gonna be honest. The trailers are hard to sell. Like, it doesn't transform, fam. What are you gonna do with this thing? What are you gonna do with this? Oh my God.
Well, I'm glad Billy actually. I didn't know this. So the original Red Ranger just got arrested for fraud. I was gonna say,
oh no,
the way you pointed out Optimus being the go-to in the Power Ranger world. At this point, it's Mighty Morphin or bust.
No.
Like they're all learning. If you're making figures, you're making props, you can only do Mighty Morphin because the only thing people are buying that are like in the masses. Everybody else, the smaller group, they're buying Zeo, Turbo, all the other stuff.
Yeah, that's even true for Transformers. As you get farther down into the storylines, I think I remember when they had like the first Beast Wars line introduced into the Masterpiece. That was kind of a big thing. Like, oh, they're going into Beast Wars before they're even done with G1.
Yeah.
You know, and they expanded to that. So that's just the nature of the thing, because the people that got into Beast Wars are, I have to say, a little bit younger than the folks that got into G1. So as that age group, you know, ages into having more disposable income, yeah, they'll have more. I'm gonna wait until they have the Transformers animated Masterpiece figures. I don't know how old I'm gonna be by then, but that's gonna be exciting for me.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's crazy.
I can't believe we're already at the hour mark. That's unbelievable.
Already?
We could talk Transformers. Yeah. We can talk it all day. It's but I of course want to shout out everybody in the chat who's been involved. I hope to have all of you on the show at one point so we can do this and just talk it out.
Absolutely.
See what
this is a ton of fun.
See what our fandoms, where they lie. If you've not done so, head over Hobbies with Jose. Links down below in the description. You said my live stream looked professional. I was watching your 2000, which, by the way, congrats on 2000.
Oh, thank you.
You had animations across the screen. There was green screen going on. I'm like, you're the professional, not me. I'm a jabroni over here just drinking beer on the stream. Like,
no, you look and sound great. You look and sound great, my guy.
Thank you. So as I like to say, at the end of the show, as you know, this is your chance, Jose. Plug yo shit.
Wow, the one thing I'm not good at. Well, we have my YouTube.
Yeah.
Hobbies with Jose. All the socials. I've kept the brand strong. Hobbies with Jose. Look for that.
Yep.
Twitter, Facebook, Insta, Twitch. I like to stream on Twitch.
Yep.
Yeah, check me out. I mean, other than Transformers, you'll see pictures of burritos and beer. So hope you like that. But yeah, that's what we do.
That's my friend. That is exactly why we're friends. My man said beer and burritos, and I'm like, I almost wore my toy hunting vlogging burritos repeat shirt, and that would have been the perfect tie-in right there to all of this.
The next one.
Thank you all for being here for another exciting episode of HeyArcher Live, of course. Every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. Here on the Nerd-affiliated channel. Podcasts, live streams, unboxings, all that stuff happens here at Nerd-affiliated. But if you want more of the toy hunting stuff, head over to HeyArcher 1 on YouTube to follow that in the vlog series. I was going to say, you could also see customizations on my channel, but go to the professionals. Go see that guy over there for all customizations, paint apps, all that. He even got the sugar on the rim. Are you drinking pumpkin? You're drinking pumpkin spice on this Thursday night?
No, this is the regular michelada here. Regular michelada, tecate. Nice.
Look at this guy. Dude, he's going to be on the show again. Best believe it.
Oh, thank you.
We'll see all of you next week. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace, nerds. We are out of here. If I can find the button. I keep losing the button, Jose. Which one is it? Oh, there's the button. I think I found it.
Nice.
Oh, I forgot, everybody. After show, HeyArcher on Instagram. We'll see you there too.